Areas that we're seeing where those reds and greens are mixing, that's where the rotation is. See how it's kind of broadened out here? That could also be a sign of some stronger winds, but most of this rotation is staying off towards the southwest of the city of Norton. This storm has a history of producing tennis ball sized hail as well as 70-mile-per-hour winds. We do see this nice line of storms though starting to intensify as it moves into a more favorable environment across portions of eastern Kansas. Lisa, we are definitely seeing the transition now as we move just to the west of Chase. We are seeing that become more of a sleet. That is not snow you're seeing on the ground. That is actually those ice pellets from the sleet coming down. That's the case for most of western Kansas, which is why road conditions have been so poor. We've seen plenty of snow on the ground and it's still coming down, and conditions will continue to decrease through the overnight in terms of road conditions. One of the strongest wind gusts we've seen was in Hill City at 79 miles per hour earlier this evening. In this area, we got in photos and reports of trees being snapped in half, several power lines down, and power poles being impacted as well. As that collides with the warm, unstable air mass over the state of Kansas by tomorrow evening, it's going to be set up with the perfect ingredients to produce some stronger to severe thunderstorms. So if we see more sunshine tomorrow, more energy will be available to fuel these storms and produce that severe threat as we move into the afternoon. So grab a jacket as you head out the door, and I know a lot of kids going back to school after spring break tomorrow. Make sure you send them off to the bus stop with a jacket, but they might not need it by the afternoon, and it's being driven south along with that moisture thanks to a cold front that's currently working its way across the Sunflower State. So water droplets that are formed in fog instantly freeze onto exposed surfaces. This creates a thin layer of ice that can lead to black ice on roadways, but also slick spots on bridges and overpasses. But with northwesterly winds across the rest of the region, that's going to cause a dramatic change in our temperatures as we move from Tuesday into Wednesday. While those of us experiencing the colder air in northwest Kansas and far north central Kansas will see some snow for the start of Monday. That's bringing drier air into the state. We have seen clear skies across the northern half of the region, but areas like Wichita as well as closer to the Oklahoma state line have been struggling to see sun today, with clouds in place over portions of south central Kansas that will act as a blanket, keeping the heat trapped closer to the surface. So while we did not see totality in Kansas, still a great view and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
For Storm Track 3 weather rate forecast.
Winter weather is on the way as we head overnight into the start of the work week, and it's all thanks to this low pressure system that's currently making its way across Colorado. As this low continues to track off towards the southeast, we can already see we're out ahead of it. We have plenty of watches and warnings and also advisories in place for most of Kansas into Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri. For the most part, here in the Sunflower State, we're dealing with one of three types of alerts. The first is going to be a winter storm warning. That is in place for most of the northern half of the state, starting at 6 a.m. on Monday and lasting until 12 p.m. on Tuesday. This is the area that's going to pick up some significant snowfall here over the next 48 hours. That's mainly going to be along and north of I-70, including areas like Manhattan, Salina, Hill City, Colby, and Goodland. But stepping forward, we also have winter weather advisories. This is more so going to be for south central Kansas into the eastern half of the state. This is where we're still expecting to see impacts from that snowfall, but not as much in terms of totals as our friends off to the north are going to get. These winter weather advisories are in place from the same time frame from 6 a.m. on Monday through noon on Tuesday. But we also have blizzard warnings. This is going to be the most dangerous part of the state as we move towards tomorrow, because not only is western Kansas into southwest Kansas expecting to get the most in terms of snowfall totals, but also going to be seeing the strongest winds as we move through our Monday, and strong winds and heavy snow create low visibility and dangerous traveling conditions. We could also see snow drifts begin to form as that snow is moved around by those strong winds, and this warning is in place from 6 a.m. on Monday through 6 a.m. on Tuesday. So let's break it down here as we move into the next several hours. The highest snowfall totals that's going to be starting late tonight into early tomorrow morning is going to be for the areas in purple. That's including much of northern Kansas, areas like Concordia, Hill City, Colby, but also back down towards Elkhart and other areas hugging along the Colorado state line near Hamilton County as well as Greeley County. They could see anywhere from 6 to over 8 inches of snowfall. But we could also see 4 to 6 inches from Salina, Great Bend down towards Liberal, also Goodland and McCook in that 4 to 6 range. Now Emporia, Hutch, Pratt, and Dodge City in the 2 to 4 range. And then as you head more off towards the southeast, areas like Wichita, Arc City, and Independence only seeing about a trace amount to 2 inches of snowfall through Tuesday morning. And this has shifted dramatically since yesterday. It's shifted with the highest totals off towards the north, and that's because of the track of the low pressure system. Now, as it moves closer to the region, it's going to look like it's more taking a straight jog across the state of Kansas. We've seen cloud cover increase today and ahead of that storm, and that is the case out in Hutch, where we're seeing the clouds move in and also a bit windy out there. Winds are going to increase through the evening. Hutch currently seeing temperatures around 41. The western Kansas already feeling the chill. 25 degrees in Goodland, 31 in Colby, 48 in Arc City, and 44 in Wichita. Overnight, temperatures will plummet. We're back into the 20s and 30s, most of us sitting below freezing as that moisture moves across the state. Winds still out of the south, but tomorrow, once that low passes, winds become out of the north. And that's when we see temperatures drop back into the 30s and 40s. And across the state tomorrow, those who see the warmest temperatures across central Kansas going to see rain first before we see that transition to snowfall. So here's as we track it out hour by hour. By 11 p.m. this evening, still seeing dry skies, but stepping forward towards about 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Rain moving throughout ahead of that low pressure system. Heavy bands of rain at that moving through Great Bend, Pratt, and Dodge City, but off towards the north. That's where that snowfall is going to be wrapping around, becoming more widespread, and heavy snow expected for northwest Kansas on Monday morning. Into Monday afternoon, snow staying out in western Kansas, becoming more widespread through the evening, but notice how strong those winds are. With the heavy snowfall totals, that means we're expecting to see those blizzard-like conditions across most of western Kansas through late Monday night. As we move into early Tuesday, some snowfall lingering but drying out as we look towards Tuesday. And temperatures will be dropping behind that. We're going to be seeing highs near the freezing mark on Tuesday, back into the 40s on Wednesday before we plummet with an Arctic blast arriving for the weekend, pushing highs into the teens. North central Kansas, snow and rain tomorrow. Temperatures in the upper 30s though. That's what's going to cause that rain and snow mixture. Cooler as we move towards the weekend with overnight lows in the negatives by next weekend. Southwest Kansas seeing rain and snow mixture. Temperatures right near freezing tomorrow. Drier Tuesday and Wednesday before more snowfall expected on Friday. Northwest Kansas seeing temperatures below freezing tomorrow. All snowfall before our next wave arrives Thursday into the weekend with temperatures back into the teens for our highs by Saturday and Sunday.
You're going to be tracking the next couple of days very closely.
Yes, we're going to be very busy this week. Not only is it going to be seeing that snow and blizzard conditions tomorrow, but then we're back in the freezer for next weekend.
Oh, I looked at that 7-day and I just look at the end and I'm like, that's not right. That's too cold.
Yeah.
It's coming. So
it's coming.
All right, Shockers basketball on the road today.